Hello, everybody, and welcome to the EV Cafe Takeaway, the podcast focused on the zero-emission future that we all hope for. And every week I get to talk to one of the... I might as well just introduce... It's usually JC. So, JC, hello and welcome.
Hello, I've never been called usually. I'm usually abnormally.
Surely not. Don't call me Surely. Anyway, so usually we have someone else, and they're pioneers, collaborators, and what's the other one? Innovators. That's the one. And of course, Brett. Exactly. He's been at the forefront of the electric transition in the world of trucks for some time. Brett Howton of IVECO. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning. Good evening. Good afternoon. Wherever you're listening. Hope everyone is well.
Oh. He's a professional. He knows the script. Brett, we've met, but many of our listeners won't know who you are or what you do. So give us just a quick flavour of how you arrived here in IVECO today and what's been your focus for the last few years, and then we can get into all the nitty gritty.
Yeah, of course. No, exactly. Well, I sort of fell into the transport industry, as I think many of us have, and that it's quite difficult to leave if you ever should go out. Not that I want to leave. It's fantastic, as we'll touch on later. But yeah, I've had quite a varied path in the past in terms of professional work life. Again, we'll touch on a little bit later. But my current role that I was in a while ago, sort of fancied a change, fancied a bigger challenge. Something that I could open myself up to and ultimately grow and help a company sort of benefit each other. And one of the guys from IVECO actually approached me. I'd got that I was available for sort of chats. And it just all stemmed from there, really. We had a real good chat. I fell in love with the ethos and obviously Italian, so all of the styling and everything that IVECO stands for. And then, 7 months later, this is where I am and absolutely loving it.
But Brett, I guess, as we look over your CV, and we're not going to delve into the other jobs that you've done, but one of the things that we can see from that is that you've had an interest in electrification of trucks for some time. And that's unusual because the electrification of trucks has only been a thing for a very short time, really. What got you there? And what are your thoughts around that sector at the minute?
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm a geek, number one. So anything that's like remotely different or something I can chuck myself into and actually learn about it and actually make a difference with something, that's what I love. A couple of my hobbies are building remote control vehicles, whether it's planes, helicopters, buggies like on the ground. I've got a 3D print art and studio that I do. So anything technical, anything geeky like that, I absolutely love it. And I don't know, it's something that I think that's been in the childhood. So one of my old jobs that I will mention, because it was quite a passion of mine, was Dixons Electrical. I'm sure everybody will remember Dixons Electrical, or your mum or your dad's told you about it or something. But back in those days, it was just so different. There was none of the stuff that goes on now around, you have to do this, you can't do this. So I actually remember the first Harry Potter movie that was ever released. It was obviously on DVD back then. We used to get shipments about a week or two before the actual release date. So, of course, I took it home and watched it. So we literally we were one of the first people ever to see the new Harry Potter movie. And then likewise with any sort of console, sort of newbies or upgrades. So when the PlayStation 2 come out, we actually got the first shipment of that a month before the actual release date in the UK. So of course, I had a PlayStation 2 on my shelf, all the games. So I think the interest to sort of be the first at something or to experience it and to really delve into it and find out what makes stuff tick, that's what originally drew me to the electric stuff, I think, because it's all different. It's nothing like an internal combustion, as you guys know, obviously you're on the EV Cafe. But then all of the benefits of electric, you get instant power, and back in my day, I was a petrol head, lots of modified cars and car scene and all that stuff. But, just the power and things of electric is an interest on its own. So, in a nutshell, that's why I've got the passion for it.
So what drew you to IVECO
Brilliant.
then? Because, 7 months ago, IVECO had the E-Daily, the brilliant van,
Yes.
and were talking about the SE way, but we hadn't actually seen anything. What made you think, oh yeah, IVECO's the place I want to be?
Well, I think there's many reasons, but I think probably the couple that stick out is the sort of way their innovation and how much of a pioneer they are. I mean, everything they've done, even from the first daily right the way through, as you say, to the E-Daily. But they haven't just jumped at stuff and just wanted to get stuff to market quickly just to get something in the market. They've properly sort of taken the time, looked at what else is out there, looked at how they can improve on it. And I think we've got, with our SE way, we've got a lot of firsts that the industry, so that they're not quite there yet. And then just honestly, the second thing, from when we had the initial chat with the guy that approached me, just the ethos of the company and the attitude to work, all of that good stuff that seems to have just gone by the wayside in a lot of roles these days. IVECO have that, and that's what I was sort of crying out for in a role, really. And then all the people are super nice. We get to talk to the Italians, so I'm learning another language a little bit as well. So yeah, just there's lots of reasons, but they're the two that sort of really stick out.
It's interesting, this tie-in of your past and your interest in gamification and games and the gamification of transport. I drove the E-Daily recently, and it did feel like I was having a sort of an otherworldly experience because it's so so driver focused, interactive. I could play with how I use the vehicle to get the very best out of it. And it was like playing a game. Can I be better than I expect in the daily, despite its huge size and brilliant performance, and the temptation just to say, I'm going to floor this. Restricted to 56 miles an hour, I didn't. But it is that gamification. It keeps you interested, doesn't it, in driving the vehicle, doing the thing.
Yeah, it 100% does. And that's the thing. Is not a lot of people have been lucky enough to sort of experience an electric vehicle. So to get in, something that's as big as an SE way, and it be virtually silent, and like you say, goes like stink if you put your foot down. It's quite an unworldly experience, because I know trucks have evolved over the years. Because I remember back in the day, you'd have a diesel chugging up the hill no more than 3 or 4 mile an hour, and it couldn't go any quicker. That was just the truck of the day. So modern trucks are, they're really good now, but something as powerful as an electric truck is, it's just mind-blowing. It really is.
So, Brett, I've got to ask, what's your favourite, the van or the truck?
Oh, truck. Easy.
Okay.
No, the E-Daily super, and everyone knows it's super, but now I'm a truck man. 100% truck man.
Excellent. Well, so that is, it's good to explore then, because you and I got to share a wonderful trip to the town of Ulm. I don't know if it's a town or a city. It's got a very tall spire thingy, as we discovered, didn't we? But
I know.
But yeah. So tell us a little bit about that trip, because it was a trip to see the SE way for the very first time.
Yeah, so exactly. You're 100% right. It was to see the ESE way for the first time, and that was excellent for me, because I'd spent weeks and months prior looking at sort of CAD images and specs online and pictures on the internet. I was like, when are we actually go and get to see the vehicle? That was obviously in Ulm, which was brilliant. So we utilised the time for the event to take some key account customers with us. Sort of ones that have been with us a while, and we thought it's a nice little thank you for them, and also to introduce them to the new product, and so they could get hands-on experience as well. And yeah, it was fantastic. I think the way that we had to build up to the product as well, I know we had a day or two of talks and sort of this is what it is about. There was a few presentations, the technical side of it, and then the day when we got up there, it was just a weird time in March. It was like one of those freaky days where it was middle 20 degrees. There were no clouds in the sky. IVECO even provided us branded sunscreen and shades, which was amazing. I was going to put on one now, but I don't think that's broke yet. And then, it was great that they looked after us so well. The group was split. We'd got there was quite a few ladies with us as well that had come along from different companies. they'd sort of looked at the truck and were happy with their intake of technology, if you like. So the Ulm guys laid out some deck chairs with some ice cold drinks. They were all on there all afternoon. They had a wear of a time. And then there was just all those blokes looking at all the big motors and how good it goes and how silent it is. And yeah, we were entertained for the afternoon.
I mean, it was a fantastic experience. I did note. Oh gosh, I've forgotten the name. Joanne, I think her name was. She was quite technically minded. She did kind of get a bit under the bonnet of it, and I know Dion as well. She gets her, likes to get under the bonnet of these things and get nuts and bolts. Very, very very clever people. But that's what I was struck by across the piece, actually, was that there was a real level of insight and knowledge, engineering expertise that had come out. And, it's easy for a manufacturer, isn't it, just to say our vehicle is the best thing ever. It's full of unique things and all cool stuff. But as the videos show, and I'll link the videos that are on YouTube from my trip to under the EV Cafe, my trip to Ulm, in the links here, because they're worth checking out, because the customers were really impressed. What was the feedback that you got directly?
Yeah, very similar to yours, Paul. It was exactly that. The prospects and customers we took were very valued to us, as all customer prospects are. But not only that, we'd got a very long-standing relationship with them. So we could see through their sort of actions, their body language, and what they did say to us, it was truthful, and they actually meant it from the heart. So yeah, the feedback I got was, it was really comfortable, and they couldn't believe the range of it, so how far it would go. I think it's sort of close to the industry leading at the moment. But with just the comfort of it, that it was a good familiarization from the guys jumping out of a ICE truck or a CNG truck into the EV. It's the same, pretty much. It's still a truck. It just drives differently. So yeah, the feedback was all round positive, actually. I can honestly say we didn't have anything sort of untoward or negative or any points. It was all really, really positive.
I wonder what impact having the SE way might have on the gender balance in trucking, because I've noticed, I'm a big TikToker, and I have noticed a lot of young women now becoming truck drivers, and they see a career in logistics, which is a fantastic move. And with the SE way, it kind of breaks the mold a bit of old school HGV truckers, doesn't it? It makes it that clean, easy, pleasant environment to be in. Do you think it will have an impact in that way?
I'd like to hope so, because I think part of the problem with our industry at the moment is the lack of drivers, and future people coming through, not only in driving but in sort of the technical side as well. So a two-pronged answer really to your question. Yeah, I think it will definitely improve the driver score for other than just males. And likewise for the technical side as well, because as you've just said, it's a cleaner, nicer environment to be in. You're going to have no messy engine oil drains to do. And, the filters come off and there's oil everywhere and you've got sand everywhere. It's a much different world we're heading into with the EV. We probably all watch that sort of farming series online. And there's a lady there, she's massively into the tractors. So, as technology improves, more women are definitely coming in, which is, only a great thing.
Yeah, EVs are for everyone.
100%.
It does make a tremendous difference. And I think the same should be said or could be said of the van world as well. But I think it's particularly pronounced in the world of trucks. And I mean, listen, I got to drive, not to drive the vehicle directly, but to be driven around in it. And we went on a bus, didn't we? We were being taken around on a coach, and every time the coach is automatic, but every time the coach was pulling away, you were like, lots of gears, lot of jerky movements, slow out onto the roundabout, all of those kinds of things. And yet you jump in the truck and it was probably considerably heavier. It was full up with like 20 odd tons in the back. Away we went, and it's just like foot to the floor, and you're pulling out on the roundabout. So it's safe as well, isn't it, Brett?
It is, yeah, exactly, and that's just a testament to all EV stuff, really. But yeah, it is 100% safe, and the test vehicle we had was fully loaded, so it was at the slightly over the 26 ton. It was up to 28 ton gross vehicle weight because of the government allowance on the gross combination weight change, and yeah. Really, it's quite difficult to believe it if you've not experienced it yourself. An electric vehicle with that amount of power, there's no difference if it's loaded or not. I mean, it doesn't translate properly into horsepower, but into horsepower, if you were to translate it, it's over 600 horsepower. In effectively something that's designed on a 26-ton vehicle chassis. So it's immensely powerful for what it is. And yeah, with electric being instant torque, it is instant. You get everything as soon as you put your foot down. So yeah, super safe and super quick.
And that's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
One thing which
not that we have fun ever in fleet and all that sort of stuff.
It's full sustainability, healthy driving, 100% driving score all the time. It's got to be.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Sorry, John.
chaps. No, not at all. Because back in the real world, I wonder. There are practitioners, HGV owners, operators who have got to make hard-nosed business decisions, and whilst they are fun and clean and all that lovely soft stuff, they've got a job to do. And I wonder your conversations with genuine customers out on the roads. Are they easy conversations to have about that transition to electric HGV, or is it still met with the sucking of teeth? They're expensive, or yeah, we haven't got any charging, and it's all the stuff that we kind of hear, but I'm not sure about.
I think the short answer is no. Yeah, this and the most common thing I'll come up against resistance-wise is just the fact that it's change. I mean, if you think about it, certainly within all of our lives, probably our parents' lives, and maybe even their sort of parents' lives, there's not been a bigger change as an electric truck in the heavy market since all of time. It's always been diesel. It's always been a big engine. It's always been about that sort of horsepower. So there's a lot of transport companies out there that, they're family run. They've gone down through generations. That they're either not open to change or don't understand change or understand the benefits or honestly even care. So some are happy doing what they're doing, which is completely fine. So yeah, the most challenging part is actually getting in front of somebody and convincing them that, this could be another option for your business. It's not going to answer everybody's question, and it's certainly not here to replace diesel. That's not what the EV trucks is all about. It is to work alongside, and there is certain industries, certain sectors, and certain sort of role profiles that it fits perfectly into. If you're a food distribution company and you have to do early morning deliveries into a supermarket that's in the middle of a housing estate, well, you can't get in there, can you, before 7 o'clock? You've got to wait. With an EV truck, you can go in any time you want because they're underneath the quiet zone rules. So there's loads of little advantages that if you're just, in your own little transport world, you're not going to understand these. And I appreciate people giving you the time to explore the opportunity. Maybe it's not for you at the end of it, and that's fine because it isn't for everybody. I'm not here to say that you must replace your vehicles with electric trucks now because it won't fit in every role and it won't fit in every industry. But the ones it does fit in, it's bloody good.
Have you been surprised at the speed of change in the sector? Because I think, if we wound it back 2 or 3 years ago, probably 3 years ago, we would look at the truck sector and we'd say, ooh, we'd suck our teeth, all of us, and go,
yeah,
it's not going to work for trucks. Yeah, it's, we're going to need hydrogen, we're going to need hot air balloons, we're going to need all kinds of other nonsense that is going to come along. But have you been surprised? Is the technology moving faster than you imagined?
Yes, but I think the trouble is I hate this analogy because it's so old, but I can't think of a better one. It's like the chicken and egg. I guess there's no company that really wants to sort of push massively to sort of force this on people because the rest of the world in terms of just heavy stuff, particularly in the UK, just isn't quite there with infrastructure yet. There's lots of improvements being made. not many people realize that back-to-base charging is actually a thing and the preferred method. So, yeah, I think in terms of the technology, that's probably come out quicker than I thought, because essentially you've taken, whatever a passenger car is, a couple of ton vehicle that, can do quite good range. But, typical passenger car would have, I don't know, a 60 to 90 kilowatt hour battery. Well, our truck has 7 of those. So it's just like, oh my God, it's just massive. And obviously there's a direct drive with the e-axle on there and stuff. So yeah, technology-wise, I think that has come out quicker than what I thought. But I'd expected the industry to be, I think, a little bit further forward than what it is. Because if you look back at how cars grew, so they exponentially, didn't it, after the first couple of years they've been out. But you know what? I think once we get into more customers, once they realise that it does work for their prescribed operation, that it will definitely grow.
Is behaviour change the biggest thing that you have to overcome? Is it that mindset thing that people almost say, no, I can't do that, even before they know anything? And actually getting the bum in a seat and getting them to drive the vehicle is the thing that you need more than anything.
It is, 100%. And you're spot on with the behaviour change, because people, as I alluded to earlier, they're just not interested in change or don't appreciate that change could actually be better. It might improve things for you. And it's quite funny because every person that is sat in an electric vehicle, the truck included, and driven it or be driven it, it's like, well, how do I get one? I want one. It's brilliant, it's amazing. So yeah, the bums in seats thing is definitely the way forward, because it is an expensive bit of kit, and you wouldn't go out and buy a house without viewing it, would you? So you've got to view it, be happy with it, and yeah, but bums on seats is definitely it.
It's interesting because I was just reflecting on something somebody told me once about the Nissan GTR, a high-performance sports car, and Nissan delivered a load of GTRs to Silverstone and did experience days at Silverstone. And it was the most successful dealership, in inverted commas, in the country, because people drove it, got out of it and said, I want one. Do IVECO depots work in a similar way, that you bring people to you and you show them what's available and you get them excited by the experience of actually getting in them, trying them, driving them? Or are they a bit kind of, yeah, whatever, it's a truck?
No, definitely not. I mean, we do have demonstrators, and we've got the first SEWay demonstrators landing probably beginning of next year. There will be some test vehicles before, which I'm going to do a bit of testing on myself. But no, the dealerships and everyone, we've all got a range of vehicles, diesel, CNG, and we will have the electric as well. And yeah, that's exactly it. They've all got vehicles you can view, look at. There's always sold new vehicles at the site. So if you physically just want to go and look at a vehicle, not a problem at all. And then, if you want to take it the next step and actually book something official, yeah, we can do that. It's not an issue.
So we've touched on, I think you mentioned it right at the beginning, the top of the show, as I think the professionals say. You mentioned that you, like many of us, and I include myself in that, many of us have fallen into the automotive world. It's a sort of strange world that, as you say, you can check out, but you can never leave.
I like that.
But it was I think it was the Eagles that coined the phrase.
They might have got there
it?
first
About the Hotel California.
Yeah. Just take it, Paul. Just take it.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you, it was all me. So what got you into trucks? Because I mean, it's one thing to fall into the automotive sector, but it's a whole another thing to kind of fall into trucks, particularly. What was it that got you going there?
Well, I won't go through my whole life history, but
thank goodness.
Some do,
No. Yeah. But feel free, tell as much as you like.
Yeah. So, do you want me to start from when I was in prison or out of prison?
Well,
mate, listen, I've been there and done that. So,
sorry,
unless your story's better than mine,
it's the wrong show. No, so
I assume you weren't driving trucks when you were in prison.
or was I? Was it a break? That's when I did need the SE weight. So yeah, a little bit of a somewhat. So since I was growing up, I always wanted to sort of be involved with customers, sell something, do something a bit different. So the first part of my career was in retail. Obviously, why I ended up in Dixons Electrical. I had many roles within retail, as you sort of did at the time. My last one, probably nicest one, was I worked for Bang & Olufsen Stereos. So I'm sure many of you have heard of those. Yeah, real prestigious stereo supplier in Denmark. But then it sort of was going through the time where retail was dying off. They're opening all these big shopping malls everywhere. All the corner shops were closing. Businesses were really struggling. Everyone was trying to branch out and not really succeeding. So I actually, from two separate companies, got made redundant. Dixons being one of them, obviously, when they went out of business. I think it was the late 90s or early 2000s. I was sort of left at a bit of a whim. Well, what do I really do? This has been my passion since I can remember. My father at the time was a senior officer at Stafford Prison. So he sort of said, well, would you consider being a prison officer? I was like, not being. No. Well, why would I want to do that? But at the time, I was early 20s, and the money compared to retail was ridiculous. It was like 4 times my salary that I was earning in retail. So I was like, yeah, I'll start tomorrow. No worries.
Wow.
So, so I did that for just over 3 years, I think. And then, as I got a little bit older, it was just sort of the shift were a bit of a pain. It was really long hours. And I missed the interaction with customers. I really did. So I'll come out,
You had
got
loads
a
of
few
customers.
more sort of yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, but they're not very well behaved customers.
Oh, that's true.
And they don't tend to pay for stuff, which is why they're in there.
Yeah, very good point.
So yeah, I did a few other sort of jobs pottering around, and I did a few insurance roles, but I really missed the sort of core dealing with people, actually selling a tangible product. And at the time, I've got a couple of friends that were within the transport sector, and I said, "Oh well, look, we've got some jobs here. What do you reckon to this?" And at the time, I was still a petrol head, and I just went straight to, "Oh my god, truck engines—they're that big! Wow, that's brilliant." Then the geeky side started to kick in. Oh my god, they've got all this automatic braking, and they do this, and they drive themselves. Like, oh, this is brilliant! Right, this is me done. I'm sort of like answering all of the things I wanted to do in one role. And yeah, that's progressed through there, and obviously ended up where I am now.
You're phenomenal. It's great getting people's journey, isn't it?
Been around the block,
Yeah.
isn't he, this boy? I just wonder what you're most proud of, because you've done a lot of stuff in your life, and having the first PlayStation 2 would be high up my list of things I've achieved. What are you most proud of, Brett?
You know what? I think just looking back on my life, all the good people that have been around me, friends, obviously family, that goes without saying, and actually just managing to end up where I've ended up, if I'm honest. There's been lots of challenges, lots of problems and issues along the way, as we all have. I'm no different to anybody else. But to actually be able to look at what I've done, take all of my past knowledge I've learned, stand on my 2 feet, and actually just be here and, doing this with you now, it's amazing. So yeah, just there's no one thing that really sticks out, really, because it's, as with everybody, you have your own little fights and your own little battles. But to get here now in a really good position, look back at what you have been through and think, yeah, you know what? It ain't too bad. I'm happy.
Has there been somebody in your life that's been a mentor, somebody that you've taken inspiration from, that's helped you through that journey?
Yeah. So, initially my parents, I think most people would say that, because it's true. Your parents are there from day dot. They teach you all the do's and don'ts and what you should do. And ultimately, when you fail hard, which I have many times, they're there to pick you up. And it's an uncompromised love, isn't it, from the parents? And then, my partner, Katie, we've been together many years, nearly 20 years. And yeah, she's helped me through so much, the moments that haven't been so good, difficulties with parents as well, because, parents aren't always 100% right. So yeah, parents and Katie combined have really sort of structured how I am now, and yeah, made a big difference.
Brett,
Don't tell us that.
It's been great to hear those positive kind of reflections, really, on one, how you got into your career, but also that most proud and the people that have really helped you. But sometimes it's really good for context and to give people a bit of hope and understanding that actually what has been difficult for you. What did you learn from it? And was it those people that kind of got you through it? Is it all about people, or were there other things that helped you overcome? So what was it? How did you get through it, and who's helped?
Yeah, I think people are one of the biggest influences, but we all have our own little ways to shut off or ways to sort of zone out. One of mine has always been online gaming. Because I've got quite a few friends, sort of IRLs, they're called these days, are they, in real life friends? So I've got quite a few of those, but they're completely different to people online, because people online you talk out from all over the world. I mean, I've got people in Finland, in Norway, all over the world. I've got people that I consider a friend, because we share things, we spend quite a few hours together online, but never actually met them. So you can almost escape the real world in there. You've got your headset on, you're playing your game, whatever it may be, you're talking to them. There's just no problems because everything's good.
It's like being on the UV Cafe.
And yeah, exactly.
It's exactly the same. Just talk to people online. It's great. Love it.
Perfect. Right, let's just do it then. And then, I mentioned it. I do a lot of 3D printing. So that takes your mind off, because it's so involved. Designing what you're going to do, measurements, doing the drawings, printing it, getting it wrong, doing it again. So that's quite a nice escape for me, because I could just go in my room, shut myself away, and then just get working. But I think, ultimately, other human beings are definitely the drive forward, aren't they? Because they can sympathise, and with machines and things, you can't get that from them, and you never will be able to. So human beings ultimately has been the most drive forward. But I think one of the standout things, if I can just go back a little bit from me sort of growing up, really, my mum was a nurse. She was really high up in the nursing era when she left, and she did it, sort of everything: school, O-levels, college, university, and then worked her way up through nursing. And part of that, I actually got to attend a disabled sort of home, I guess they called them then. It was basically people with cerebral palsy or other sort of life-altering or uncurable disabilities. And I would just go and spend the day with them. So it was completely voluntary. And any time either after school or before school or at the weekends, I would go and just spend time with them, whether that's literally just sitting there and doing nothing, but knowing there's another person in the room with them. There was one lady, bless her name was Janice. I'll never forget her. She was just so comical. She used to try and run away in a wheelchair all the time. She was just trying to wheel away. Obviously, she couldn't really get very far, but she used to love that. And then one day a week, I used to take her to the kitchen, the cooking area, and we just used to cook a meal together. And I think that made me realise, you know what? There's people way worse off than you are, and all the little trivial things that sort of upset us, and we think, oh my God, I can't live, I can't survive without that. You definitely can, because there's always somebody worse off than you. And I think that sort of seeing that firsthand and actually being involved in that probably had quite a bit of shape into sort of how sympathetic and understanding I am now, because I've sort of seen the other side, and knowing the difference of someone just like me. Not that I'm Superman or anything like that, but just being there for somebody and just doing simple requests that they wanted. Yeah, it made a life-changing difference to them. Whereas for me, I was like, oh, well, I'm not really doing anything, to be honest, but you're clearly happy, so that's fine.
Yeah, you do make a difference.
Amazing.
You really do.
It's so grounding, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. That's the good word for. Yeah, it is grounding, and it just makes you sit back and just think, yeah, you know what, it's good.
And your own problems are probably not worth worrying about. Everybody's problems are relative. We totally get that, but I think for the good of your mental health, sometimes it's good to reflect on where you sit in the pecking order. Do you know what I mean? Because you can really suffer internally, can't you, from time to time when you don't remember.
Exactly that. And I think what's helped being exposed to such emotion, I guess from quite an early age, school age, then obviously the prison and retail. Oh my God, the amount of emotion that's within retail is, the newer people of today won't realize, Mrs. Smith, who was like trying to steal picture frames under a top. Oh my God. The emotion that was evolved around retail back in the day was just horrendous. It would honestly, stuff happens. You're like, what are you doing? So I think all of that together is really just shaped who I am, really.
It's interesting because
I love the scale of that. You know, the nursing home with all the disabled people that really kind of impacted. Then there was prison, and that was really tough. And then there was retail, and oh my gosh, that was earth-shattering.
Definitely the worst.
Emotions are so key. They are so key to everything that we do, and I'm a highly emotional human being. What I love about
he is.
And I am, and you know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you know what you can do.
Yeah, same. Same.
Got to be who I am, and I think one of the key things with IVECO is that they understand that, and it comes through in what you said about it's not all about electric. We have a range of different products that can meet your needs, and whether it's diesel, whether it's big, small, whatever it might be. So from an emotional perspective, you know that you're going into a conversation fully equipped to do a job, which makes you much more relaxed, whereas there are some salespeople who are totally focused on selling the widget that they've got because they've got to sell that widget and that's all they've got. You guys have got that range, which gives you that ability to be more relaxed, understand the customer better, and then find the right solution.
Yeah, perfect analogy that. Yeah, 100%. And that's a big draw. And the reason why I love IVECO so much, because you have got an answer for everything. So, you know, from 3.5 ton up to all the heavy stuff and everything in between, there is an answer. So, you know, I'm of the age now and the experience now. It's not that your sales has changed over the years anyway, hasn't it? But I much rather form a bond and a relationship with a customer, actually understand the needs properly. And if we can't help them, just walk away. You know, there's going to be certain occasions and certain environments where we just can't help. You know, there's nothing that we can actually do for you. That's fine. Just appreciate it and sort of move on. I think partly the way the industry's changing, I think a lot of that trust, support, and working as a team is disappearing. You know, even in my really short career in transport, coming up 8-9 years, it's changed a lot. You know, there's people that just aren't interested in talking. They've farmed that buying out to procurement, third-party companies that have got no passion or drive for their company. It's just about a price point to them. So yeah, it's become a lot more difficult to form those nurturing relationships. And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges. But yeah, I prefer go and speak to somebody, be on their level, understand what the business needs. If you can help, perfect, brilliant. We'll do something. We will 100% have the product that will fit within your business. Equally, as I said, if you can't understand, you can't, and just walk away. Don't sort of try and force something in, as you said, and sell your widget, because it won't work.
Definitely won't work. But do you know what? I really respect Mike Cutts, who is your boss, and he made some big changes when he was given the role of looking after both truck and van, which had historically been separate. And not only did he make the decision to amalgamate the team so that it gave you more breadth of because what is essentially the same kind of thing. You know, a lot of van operators run trucks, a lot of truck operators run vans. There's no point in having two conversations when you can kind of resolve it in one. But he didn't just do that. He's cross-trained you all, so you now know about vans, and the rest of the team that were vans know about trucks. And what was even better was that he invested some money across the whole team to make sure everybody could drive a truck and that knew what they were doing. Just bundles of respect for that kind of mindset that says, not only do we want to help our customer, we want to walk a mile in their shoes as well, which really struck me, and I guess will have been a positive impact for you as well, Brett.
Yeah, 100%. And that just echoes what we've sort of both said in this show before, really. Yeah, Mike's a fantastic guy. I've never quite known anyone that is so committed and works so hard, if I'm being honest, apart from me, obviously.
Of course.
but no, but my mindset is fantastic, and I think it's taken someone like Mike to actually bring IVECO forward within the UK. You know, if you go abroad, obviously Germany, Italy, Spain, it's massive. It's way bigger than it is over here. But it's just a recognition thing. It's just a not knowing. I mean, I've actually spoken to some people in the past, prospect-wise, they've never even heard of IVECO. So that's just, we've not got the visibility that some of the other brands have. It's taken someone like Mike and his attitude to actually get that forward. And yeah, you're 100% right, Paul. If you look back at what he's done with the daily and then subsequently the e-daily, the market share has just increased every year that he's been here. 100% bringing us across platform is the best thing to do, because it alludes to what I said earlier. We work really hard to try and build a relationship with somebody. And it's not like, you meet your mates down the pub, you don't see them every weekend. You might not see this prospect every 2 or 3 years, 5 years on their replacement cycle. So the amount of time you have to form a bond and a relationship is really small. So I think, getting it from the top, that is how our goal is, and that's how we operate. And cascade that down it's phenomenal. It's brilliant. And as I said, I think I said it earlier, it's the big reason that attracted me to IVECO was the mindset and the people, and is the reason why I'll stay. I love it.
Good. Right. Well, Brett, we have a closing tradition here on the EV Cafe. Now, that closing tradition you might know from your other colleagues that have been on, but it is to present you with the EV Cafe Magic Wand. And here it is. This is the lightning bolt is there, and now you get to take it. So are you ready? It's coming. There you go. You get to take the wand.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Excellent. So now you get...
And he's turned into an IVECO S-Way mug.
See, the magic's already working. So you have your magic wand. You can't do anything to your colleagues. I'm sorry, you can't kind of turn them into toads or anything like that. However, you can do something good for your life, the industry, whatever it might be. How would you use your one wish that you get on courtesy of the EV Cafe Magic Wand?
I think it's just, as I've said earlier, I'm all happy where I am when we spoke about the industry. I think it would just be for cascade out to everybody, just health, happiness, and just to be short and right in your own mind. If you think it's right, it probably is. So just go and do it. So just to cast a wand of confidence over everybody, and just to give them, there's a lot of people that aren't confident. There's a lot of people that couldn't do what we're doing. Just, if you think you can do it, you more than likely can. If you can't do it, it'll make you stronger for next time. So just a confidence one to everybody, I think.
Oh, I love it. You wave the wand. But I love that, because there's an air of altruism in that, isn't there? That comes from that heart that you've learned through the journey, because your journey with people has been quite the journey, to do the stuff working alongside of people with disabilities that have life limiting disabilities, arguably a lot of people in prison with life limiting disabilities, albeit that they're in their head rather than their physical. Some big challenges there, and then working in the transport industry, there's plenty of life limiting stuff there. That's fantastic, John. This has been good, isn't it?
So always good, but especially good to see Brett, because he said a couple of things which really struck me. One is that in order to buy something from somebody, you have to trust the somebody. And what Brett is really good at is establishing trust. He uses a lot of really detailed knowledge that he's absorbed in his time, and then just gives it out freely and easily, so that you understand it. And I love that approach. There's no pressure. You're very relaxed, and I like that. And one of the questions we sometimes ask is, what would you say to yourself if you were to give your younger self some advice. And confidence is absolutely the thing that I would tell myself, that I should believe in me. And I think that's right. Brett, you clearly believe in you believe in the product, and you establish trust to get people to have the confidence to try something different. It's a perfect relationship. You're a good man.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that. All about emotional now.
We've all cried. Paul and I have both cried on this show.
There we go.
Yeah,
well, just put Titanic on then.
Oh, don't. Which scene? Which scene? We've got to do it. Which scene makes you cry?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, where he slips off the raft.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That one.
And then you know what's happened, although it doesn't actually tell you what's happened. But that makes it worse because you can't see. So are you crying, with no need, or actually should you sobbing your heart out? But yeah, I sobbed my heart out.
Yeah, I did 40 minutes. So there's one scene for me, which is where there's an old couple who get into bed. They're an incredibly wealthy couple. And they get into bed and they just hug each other as the water rises.
Cuddle each other. That's it.
40 minutes I cried. After that, I had to stop the film. It just broke my heart.
Oh, wow. Which was it for you?
It wasn't that scene. It was a different film. So I was just going to go as a different film.
Oh yeah. What was your film, Paul?
So my film was Antoine Fisher, that probably nobody's ever heard of. It was a Denzel Washington film with a young lad who had been adopted, and he was on a journey to find what he wanted to find. And there's a scene at the end where he walks in and all of his family are there and, giving him love. He found his original family, had a torrid time in all this sort of stuff. And literally finished me for days, weeks. I mean, it was pretty challenging, but it was amazingly cathartic, actually. But he got something I never could. So, which was to meet his mum. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's powerful.
Yeah, well, but it's very specific, isn't it? So you kind of all of these things, but these are the things that ground us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, emotion is specific, and it is just unique to you, isn't it? Not everyone was going to feel your emotions. So that's fine.
See, told you he was lovely.
And on that cheery note. Oh, well, this has been great, as they always are, and I do love these conversations. And Brett, you've been an absolute star. Thank you so much, and you're going to make a huge difference in this industry with not only your heart, but your geekiness and your knowledge and your ability to communicate that to anybody that will take the time, and anybody that has the opportunity to take the time should, but anybody that takes the time with you to understand the world of vehicles and how they will fit. You can trust what Brett says and get a lot from it. So do hit Brett up. You've always got LinkedIn. I point there because that's my other screen and LinkedIn is there. He's got a lot of GCSEs. I'm just looking at his profile right now. Oh, there we go. But do also hit up all the other podcasts. There's a load of podcasts. We were just reflecting earlier. Been doing this over 2 years now. So there's plenty to go at. Lots of wonderful people there that will add something to your day. And but until next time, until sometime. Anyway, you'll be back. We'll be back, and we look forward to it. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks to Brett and John.
Yeah, definitely. See ya.
Thanks very much, both. Have a good day, all.